Is that, am I on? You can hear me? All right, okay. I have been asked to share the story of the Royal Ice Cream City-In with you this morning. So I am thrilled that I got it now. I'm thrilled that this many of you came out this cold, drizzly morning, and many faces I see in here I have seen before. Vanessa, I know, and a lot of other people here. I want to take just half a second to ask my sister, Fanny Castile, my first cousin, Rose, and James Chavis, who brings them here, to take a half a second to stand, take your Bible, and take your seat. Thank you. And for the rest of you, I said good morning. I'm from Northampton County, and that's a place where cotton, corn, and peanuts grow. And I grew up in the cotton field. The peanut field didn't have a whole lot to do with corn, but we would see our daddy and all of the men maybe about every 3 months, get dressed and go somewhere and not say where they were going, but they weren't taking us to church with them, so we knew that. After watching them for a little while, I finally asked my mother, because it seemed like there was something wrong, grown men going to a meeting and afraid to tell people where you're going, slipping off to a meeting, a silent meeting. So I asked her, where's he going when he dressed up and leave us here on Sunday afternoons? And it took a couple of conversations, but eventually she said he's going to the NAACP meeting. Well, we knew what the NAACP stood for. We also knew the difference in the Ku Klux Klan. So I didn't say nothing else about that, but I think probably in my sophomore or junior year in high school, I had just made up my mind that when I get grown and I'm going somewhere and find me one of those meetings that he has been going to. And I'm not going to slip in that meeting. I'm going to walk in there with my head high and let the people know I'm there. Well, little did I know, when I graduated from high school, I came to Durham, got a room in a really nice home, got a job at Duke Hospital, and after a few months, I moved to the Harriet Tubman branch YWCA, where I met one of the defendants. Mary Clyburn was living there. And we became very good friends. There was so much to do. Groups came in. If you had a group and you wanted the group to meet, you could just come in and book it, no fee or nothing. Thursday night was family night. A lot of the people from campus came and ate, because you could eat the dinner and desserts and beverage for about $2. It was just a joyous place to be. So one Sunday afternoon, Mary Clyburn and another friend of ours, Vivian Jones, and I were walking out of the Harriet Tubman branch YWCA. Because at this time, we were 19, I think, or something like that. And that's when we would be going, that's when we would be going out in the afternoon, because there were a lot of places to go. So just as we were walking out of the door, these well-dressed men, we're talking 1957, these colored men walked in, well-dressed just like our daddies did. So one of them invited us to go to the meeting, and I asked, what kind of meeting is it? He said, it's a political meeting. Oh, Lord. That was the dry patch I wanted to be in. Thank you, Ronnie. So I said, yeah, we will go. Wherever we were going, we forgot about it. We followed those men that we had never seen before in that meeting. and sat down. And it didn't take long for David Stith, who was the chairman of that organization. The organization was called ACT, A-C-T. I don't know what A stood for, C nor T. That did not interest me. But we just sat down with him and we quietly, because all of them were grown men running their own business, so they were like 10, some of them maybe 15 years older than we. We sat quiet and listened. It didn't take long for us to find out why we were there and what their intention was. They were going to test one of the eating establishments and request service. The next month would be, this was May, so June was gonna be the decision month. We're gonna name a place, go to the place and decide who is willing to go. And the one thing I noticed, there weren't any women. There were at least about 20, 25 men, no women in there. But I found out this also was the kind of meeting just about that our dad was going to, because they weren't making this public even to the men, because they did not want the high establishment, you might say, of the colored community to say, oh no, don't do that. We don't rock the boat. We doing good just like this. Don't start no stuff. So to make sure that didn't happen, they didn't tell them. So you know if they didn't tell the men, they didn't tell the women. That's why they weren't any women then, because they said we tell everything. Well, we're surprised, and we not only didn't go out and tell it, we didn't even talk among ourselves. But the fourth Sunday in June, we went to the meeting. And after the prayer and a short statement, the question was, where are we going to stage this city and to ask for service? I know I wasn't thinking about making history, and I don't think they might have been, but I don't know what they were thinking. I was just thinking I'm gonna do something that my dad was not able to do. And so, threw out a few names, and finally somebody said, well, let's go to the Royal Ice Cream Parlor. It's located in the heart of the colored community. Our money goes in the same machine that theirs go in. Let's go there. And everybody agreed unanimously that we would go to the Royal. That's how we picked the Royal Ice Cream, sitting right on the corner of Roxborough and Dowd Street. The next question was, who is willing to go? The three women, we raised our hands, and 4 men raised their hand. Now you've got 7 going. And we didn't talk about, I didn't even think about jail or nothing. I hadn't thought about nothing except that I was going and I was gonna sit there as long as one other person sat there. So we got in the car and went on. When we got there, we knew the drill. You have to park in the back parking lot. You have to go up a few steps, and you go in and you stand and wait until the waiter had taken all of the white customers' orders and taken them back and was getting them fixed. Then he would come to us, take our order, hand it to us, and back down the steps and in the car, and on your way you were going. You couldn't even sit in the car and eat it. So we knew what the drill was, but we also knew there was a swinging door like this that swung both ways. And the idea was whoever go in there and push that door open, push it with such force that it would hang, and that would give the chance all 7 of us to get in there and get seated. And that is exactly what happened. And apparently I must have been the last one to clear the door, because I ended up at the back of the restaurant. And we took the choice seats, the booths. Everybody liked to sit at the booth so you can watch the traffic come and go. That is what we did. We sat there and the waiter looked at us. He went back in the manager's office and talked to the manager. The manager came out and he got a good look at us. They went back in there. Then the waiter was sent out to ask us to leave. And that is what he did. And he started it from the front, asking the people to leave, and they were asking him for ice cream. He moved down to the second booth and on until he got to us, and he asked us to leave. He said the manager didn't want to serve us, and we were asking for ice cream. Nobody said nothing, but everybody asking for ice cream. They found out that wasn't working. He went back to the manager's office, and eventually I guess they decided they had no choice but to call the police. And that is what they did. And as we were watching traffic, 4 police cruisers came up, parked in the front, and they came in, and as they were heading for the manager's office, they got a good look at us. They went and talked to him for a little while, then they came out, and they decided they were going to very politely ask us to leave, and that is what they did, and that is how it was. Will you please leave? If you leave, he will not arrest you. There'll be no problem. You can go on home. Nobody was moving. Still asking the police for ice cream. So when they got to the end, and that was to us, where I was sitting, the same thing repeated itself. And the police was saying, he will not arrest you. You won't get in no trouble. There won't be anything wrong if you just quietly leave. But I'd like some ice cream, please. So they decided that they would have to arrest us. I don't know at that time in 1957 whether they were handcuffing everybody or not, but they did not handcuff any of us. That is the one thing I know. So we got in the car and went down to the magistrate's office. One magistrate on duty, because not a whole lot happened on Sundays.